Welcome to episode 4 of the Frontier Journal. Today we are traveling to Saigon, Vietnam. This city is located in southeast Vietnam and supports a vast network of ports, including the port of Saigon, which is the busiest container port in Southeast Asia. Saigon has a population of roughly 9.5 million people and an economy that consists of mining, seafood processing, agriculture, tourism, finance, industry, and trade. This, coupled with the busiest international airport in the nation, makes Saigon the economic capital of Vietnam. If you are in the area and looking for places to stay, you will be impressed by how modern the city is, and because of the currency exchange rates between the US dollar and the Vietnamese dong, your money will go very far. Tourism is also a significant industry for Saigon, so there are several shopping malls and many English speakers. The weather is no doubt tropical, with temperatures consistently hot year-round and daily average humidity of 72 to 85%. A lot of buildings have air conditioning, but the weather promotes an active nightlife where temperatures are generally cooler. The area in which Saigon resides has been home to several different empires and people. The name of this region has changed several times, so it's important to note that the Chinese ruled much of what we know as Vietnam today for over 1,000 years, from 111 BC to 939 AD, known as the First, Second, and Third Era of Northern Domination, and again from 1407 to 1428 AD, known as the Fourth Era of Northern Domination. This rule was characterized by repression and brutality, but today the Vietnamese people fiercely protect their national identity and culture, understanding that some elements were adopted from the Chinese. Vietnam maintains a complex relationship with China due to historical conflicts, as previously mentioned, and more recent Sino-Vietnamese War, which lasted about 1 month in 1979. This is when the Chinese invaded northern Vietnam in order to disrupt the Vietnamese army's invasion into Cambodia. The state of affairs has actually pushed the Vietnamese market and state towards the west. So, the origin of the name Saigon is disputed. However, etymologists know the name came from the Vietnamese who settled in the area while it was under the rule of the Khmer Kingdom in the 1620s. As increasing waves of Vietnamese settlers set up homes in the area, they colloquially referred to the area as Saigon, meaning said in 2 words. Why exactly they named it that way is still up for debate to this day. 2 of the most popular theories are that the Chinese named the region Tai Nong, meaning market, and the Vietnamese people picked it up and just pronounced it as Saigon. One of the other popular reasons, not the only other possible explanation, is that Saigon is named after a flower named Sai that grows in the region. But over time, this already large population of Vietnamese people would expand and eventually weaken the Khmer Kingdom's presence in the area, while simultaneously the Khmer Kingdom was embroiled in conflict with Thailand, leading to the eventual cessation of Khmer control in the Vietnamese area. The name persisted this way until the French colonial era, when it was westernized and changed into one word, Saigon. Today, the official name of the city is actually Ho Chi Minh City, named after the leader of the Viet Minh Communist Party who took control of the city on April 30th, 1975. Although the name has officially changed, the name Saigon is very popular and commonly circulated among the Vietnamese people. It even remains on the crest of the city to this day. In this episode, I decided to discuss 2 historically significant figures that may not be attributed to Saigon specifically, but they have a large role in the history of Vietnam. The first is Portuguese Jesuit Francisco de Pina, who was an interpreter, missionary, and priest credited with creating the first Latinized script of the Vietnamese language, which the modern Vietnamese alphabet is based on. From 1611 to 1617, he studied at St. Paul's College in Macau, where he was exposed to the works of João Rodrigues Tizu, who had started a transliteration of Japanese into the Latin alphabet using phonetics of the Portuguese language. Francisco de Pina arrived in the Deng Trong called Cochinchina in 1617 and began missionary work in Hoi An and Hoi Nan. During this time, he learned the Vietnamese language with the help of a local convert known only by his baptismal name, Peter. At the time, most official documents were written in classical Chinese known as Chu Han, meaning Chinese script, while vernacular Vietnamese was typically written in Chu Nam, literally Southern script, which were the scripts used in the land south of China. For his missionary work, De Pina systematically recreated Vietnamese sounds using the Latin alphabet and compiled a dictionary as well as a grammar book for his newly created system, which would later be known as Chu Quoc No. Due to political upheaval in Portugal as a result of the War of Independence against Spain from 1640 to 1668, French Jesuit missionaries began arriving in Vietnam. One of the earliest was Alexandre de Rhodes, a student of De Pina, who published the first two books in Quang Nam. The first was a baptismal book for new converts, and the second, a multilingual Vietnamese, Portuguese, and Latin dictionary and grammar book. The contributions of these two men, as well as the Vietnamese people who helped translate their language, are given credit for producing the modern Vietnamese alphabet. Saigon today is a very modern city with several famous tourist attractions, including Landmark 81, which is the tallest skyscraper in Saigon, reaching 1,500 feet tall or 81 stories. The War Remnants Museum is a popular attraction, as well as the Ben Tran Indoor Market and Independence Palace, which served as a seat of the French colonial government in Cochinchina. Thank you for traveling with the Frontier Journal.